We made the really hard decision not to work with a sponsor on this podcast episode. And it was hard because sponsors support the show. They allow us to do what we love to do. But we had to say no because they wanted us to take out all the most important parts and censor this episode. And we just couldn't do that, could we?
We couldn't do that because it'd end up losing all the juicy bits, wouldn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And Tate's full of those. So instead, we thought we'd take this opportunity to talk about our free Discord community, which you can join with the link down in the description.
And there's nearly 15,000 like-minded entrepreneurs striking it big together.
All right, we're going to shut up now and get back to the podcast. But if you want to join that, we'd really love to see you in there. So the link will be in the description below. Anyway.
Example of both enormous digital conquest and the risks that come with it is Andrew Tate.
I'm from a council estate in Luton. I'm now a billionaire. And it's because I actually tried my best. If I carry on at the trajectory I'm carrying on, they're going to put me in jail because I'm too influential and I'm too dangerous.
Is that guy unapologetically troll-like, ostentatious displays of wealth and arrogance?
I don't wear a big diamond Patek with $500,000 to tell the time. I tell the time on my phone. I do it because I'm loaded. I have no respect for money. Money for me is a tool, and I use it to get whatever I want and bend the world. I can never be poor. You could take all of my money today. I'll be a millionaire again in 2 weeks.
And then the other day, virtually every tech company on the planet banned him.
I'm the first person who's been canceled where it's absolutely monumentally failed. Not a single female's come out and said, I had a negative interaction with Andrew. He was a mean person.
Andrew is empowering men to take personal responsibility. He actually teaches them how to leave the system, how to leave the matrix.
If you ask a woman the kind of man she wants, she will never say depressed or sad, ever. She wants a man who is ultra capable, ultra competent. You guys are all successful enough. You can sit there and say, look, I do X, Y, Z. I have X, Y, Z. There's people out there with money like you couldn't fathom. There is so much money in the world.
There's no limit to how much money you can earn.
If you want to stay a loser, stay one. Good, it's fine. Stay a loser. I have no sympathy for you. I don't care. I believe there's only 3 reasons people are not rich.
To be fair, yeah, a few of the people that you told didn't know who it was.
Well, how about the hairdressers yesterday? You said, guess what? Tomorrow we're going to be interviewing Andrew Tate. And he goes, oh, that sounds good. Do you watch the football?
He wasn't bothered at all.
He wasn't bothered.
I just thought I'd give up. He doesn't understand what a big a deal this is. Is he here? He's coming up. The pressure is on.
Is it okay, that coffee?
Perfect. Thank you,
Okay.
Is it really perfect though?
It's amazing. Appreciate it.
Wait, the instant coffee.
It is a very good instant coffee.
I'm happy with instant coffee. I'm not a coffee snob.
Do you know what? So am I. Sometimes you can have a coffee from a Starbucks and you go, really? That's not that good.
100%.
And yet, if you have your favourite instant, you always know just how it's going to be, don't you?
Completely agree. I'm not a coffee snob. Caffeine tastes like coffee. It's hot. It's kind of crazy. People sit and they go, oh, this tastes nothing like coffee. Of course it does. Yeah. I mean, it's not, it tastes pretty close to coffee. So I'm happy with it.
So Andrew, you're arguably the most famous guy on the planet. At one point, you were Googled more than Biden and Putin, which is crazy. Yeah. Do you feel you've lost a bit of your freedom now, having to think about where and when you go somewhere and always going around with security guards?
I've certainly lost a lot of my freedom, yes. Everything becomes far more labored. If I go to the mall, you don't just go to the mall. You have to organize the day that you go to the mall, and you have to tell your security team, and they have to plan where the car is going to go and drop off, and they have to be there in advance, and you have to decide which team's going inside with you, which teams. So yeah, you certainly lose a lot of freedom. I'm not complaining. It just takes a lot of organization. Right?
How about when you're on your yacht and people are trying to get onto that?
Yeah, that was kind of crazy. Yeah, that was pretty crazy, but it's good. My captain's good. We can run away if we want to, but.
You've got enough power in that yacht then, yeah?
Yeah, and we move around a lot, so it's kind of hard to catch us. But yeah, I'm not complaining in any way. It's part of the territory, right? You just have to be very organized with it. It depends where you go. In the Western world, there's a genuine security concern, which makes it a completely different scenario. In London, if crowds come around me, I feel super uncomfortable. Whereas in Dubai or Romania, where I reside,
Okay, well, I first come across you, Andrew. You were dissing Teslas, and I came back at you a little bit on a TikTok, and I got about 20 million views.
Where's a Tesla?
The richest man in the world, Elon Musk.
No man alive in a Tesla. I couldn't keep the living out.
Listen, I don't have time to fight. Have your guys message my guys and we'll have a chat on my podcast.
What are your views on Teslas now?
You called Andrew out, didn't you?
I did call you out a little bit.
I remember. And I love Elon because Elon's let me back on Twitter. So I have nothing bad to say about Tesla or Elon anymore. I am just not a fan of electric cars as a whole because I think that we are being forced into the age of electric cars. So this is the last great age of the combustion engine. So I think that you should have a combustion engine car for as long as you can. Soon you won't have that choice, right? So why wouldn't you have a combustion engine while you can? In 10, 20 years, we're not going to have that option. So, but then saying that, I bought a Rimac Navara the other day, which is a very fast electric car. So I've kind of moved over. I've got a few hybrids. I'm getting there. It's kind of hard to avoid now. Yeah. But I think that combustion engines are all coming to an end, aren't they? So.
Well, they are, but you'll always be able to buy one, won't you? Because you'll always be able to buy a vintage sports car or something like that. I don't want vintage. I want brand new. I want the newest tech. I want the new ones. And the new ones are going to stop selling. They're going to stop making. And that upsets me because I don't even think that the world's going to function correctly with this electric car garbage once everybody has one. How's everybody going to charge their electric car? Actually think about it for a second. It's fine when the odd person has an electric car, fine, but you're on the motorway and thousands of people need to charge their electric cars at 6 hours a time. How is this going to even work out?
The infrastructure isn't there.
The infrastructure
Well, I
isn't
mean,
there.
you don't need 6 hours. Like when I'm charging my Tesla, it takes probably about 30 minutes. But
30 whole minutes.
30 minutes.
I can put dead dinosaurs inside of my Ferrari in 30 seconds and I'm done and I'm out.
That's very true. But do you take a break on a long road trip? Do you often go for a coffee or something? Because I quite like it, just go and chill for a little bit and then the car's charged.
He pretends that he likes it.
Yeah, exactly.
I do like it.
Well,
Andrew's being chauffeur driven, so he's relaxing
you don't
already.
need to worry.
What was it, a Maybach today?
yeah, something like that. But but I drive around Europe. I do very long road trips, and it's fine for one person to take a break. But if you actually analyze the infrastructure of thousands of people trying to take a half an hour, 45-minute break, it changes everything. Also, the conspiracy theorist in me doesn't believe they're trying to push us towards electric cars because they care about the environment. I believe they're trying to push us towards electric cars for control because you can easily monitor an electric car. You can see where it goes. You can turn it off.
Yeah, imagine lockdown and COVID with everyone having electric cars.
Turn the cars off.
Yeah.
Turn everyone's cars
It's
off.
a horrible thought.
No, but that's what they're doing it for. Like, why else do you think they give a shit about the environment? It's kind of amazing to me anyone buys any of this crap. They sit here and they talk about global warming, and then there's obviously the hypocrisy of flying around on jets, etc. But that's not even the true thing that shows you they're lying. The thing that shows you they're lying is the second they manage to launder enough money from the people and steal hundreds of millions of dollars, they go and buy beachfront property. All of them are sitting on beachfront houses. I thought they were scared of the rising sea levels.
Exactly that.
Now they don't give a shit because it's them. Oh no, let's buy a house right here, right next to the ocean. So they don't care about the environment. None of them do. And anything they do, there's Trojan horses in life. They're going to come along with something like green environmentalism. They're going to Trojan horse it with control, which is what every government ever wants. If you oppose it, you look like a psychopath because who doesn't love the nature and who doesn't love the world, right? But truthfully, if you look at all the agendas inside of it, it's about more control. And that's the garbage that goes along with it. And like you said, lockdown, it would have been very easy. I'll give you another example. Imagine there's a protest. Imagine people finally have enough and they get fed up and there's a protest and you start trying to drive towards the protest to join in to exercise your democratic right. You just turn your car off. Now what are you gonna do, walk? And this is where all of this comes to. You have to understand that every single agenda that is being pushed in the world today, all of them come with the Trojan horse of control. And I don't want to be controlled on that level. I want my car to work. I want to start it and it move.
And make noise. Lots of noise.
And noise, yeah. But I want an electric car just doesn't feel like it's mine.
I think there's definitely going to be a case that they're going to give speed limits, and that will be controlled for electric cars without a doubt. And at the moment, of course, none of us break the speed limit, but if we wanted to, of course, we can as an individual do that. Yep. So I think certainly limits will come on like that, don't you?
Yeah, well, it's the never-ending argument, right, of safety versus freedom, because when you talk about making somebody safe, the only way you can do that is to remove their freedom. So this is what they do. They say, humans crash cars, humans can't be trusted, we're going to put this limit in place for your safety. And they're right, it is more safe, but then your freedom is eroded, and then you have to trust the people who are taking your freedom away to never abuse their power. And anybody who's read a history book and understands human nature knows that power is always going to be abused. So it's unfortunate, kind of, it's hard on both sides. If you oppose it, they're like, well, don't you care about people who die in car crashes? And then if you say the other way around, it goes the other way around. So it's interesting, but the world is becoming draconian. I like to think we're fighting back, especially with the big tech censorship. That stuff's starting to go in our favor a little bit.
That's what I was going to say. Actually, big tech censored you, and if you could undo that censorship, would you?
I think they failed. How am I censored? I'm the first person who's been canceled where it's absolutely monumentally failed. And I think there's a bunch of pressure behind the dam. I think a lot of people are pissed off with these people. But what holds people back from really speaking their mind is everyone's afraid of the cancellation. Once somebody like me proves cancellation doesn't work, and we put a crack in the dam, I think it's gonna break. I think a lot of people are gonna sit there and go, you know what, Tate got canceled, he's fine. So I'll say what I mean now, and I'll say what I mean now. They can't ban everybody, right? They can't ban everyone.
Do you feel that it's impacted you in people reaching out to you though, with not having a direct link to yourself?
I mean, we had you on Instagram before, and we're like, oh no, he's gone now. We can't get in touch with you.
Yeah, I'm a little bit harder to reach, but I'm not complaining about that, to be honest. There's more work involved perhaps in getting my message out sometimes, but I'm now on Rumble, which have been fantastic to me, which is a YouTube competitor, and I have to give them a shout out because they've been completely fantastic. And it is amazing how quickly you adapt to the idea of being able to speak absolutely uncensored. Because even if you don't think you're censoring yourself on a platform like YouTube, you are. You may not think you are, but you're still sitting going, let me say it this way. And if I'm going to mention this, the flu we all had to hide from, let me say it this way. That once you get used to just saying whatever you want, it's pretty refreshing. So Rumble's been absolutely amazing to me. And I think a lot of people are moving over there and making up backup channels on there. But yeah, and then Elon came and unbanned me and bought Twitter. So we're starting to win a little bit, which I think is good because I think that without truth and without free speech, we were always going to head to absolute tyranny and slavery. So
does Rumble give you access to your own data? Because I think that's a big thing, like owning your own email list even. And YouTube, you can't do that. All the other platforms, you can't.
Yeah, you can own your own subscribers with Rumble.
You can?
Yeah,
okay,
so
that's awesome.
I would look into it heavily. And the CEO, Chris, is really a hero for free speech. And then obviously Elon on the other side with Twitter. That's why I can't insult Tesla anymore. So I'm sorry. I shut up now.
How did it happen with Twitter? How did they actually get you back on? What was the process?
I just got an email saying log in.
Simple as that.
That was it, yeah.
Job done.
Obviously, you've mentioned free speech there. Do you believe 100% in everything that you say and everything you put out there, or is some of it just to poke the bear and cause controversy?
I believe in every point I make. However, there are points I make in a deliberately aggressive fashion to upset people. Yeah, I do that. But I do still mean everything I say.
Do you think that bites back at you a little bit? A little bit too much sometimes, or?
Perhaps it can do, but I'm not afraid of, I'll state right here, I've had a lot of people say, what's it like to be canceled? And the whole world hated you and everyone was out to get you. And there was all these people trying to contact your family and dox their addresses. And I didn't give a fuck. I don't care. Maybe I'm supposed to care, but I've had real problems in my life. I'm not some YouTuber. I've done real things with real difficulty and real issues. People writing hate comments about me, some dork with an anon account, I couldn't possibly care less. It doesn't bother me. So because it doesn't bother me, I guess that influences how I talk, right? But I want to get my point across as compendiously and poignantly as possible. And I think that the aggression being involved in some of the things I'm saying is necessary for people to truly understand them. I think that's the reality of the world. So I'm going to say it exactly how I feel it. And that's how I feel it. And if people want to cry about it, they can cry in the comment section. I don't read the comments. I don't have an account. So I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. I'm banned.
Do you think if the majority of people actually hated you and disliked you, you would actually be a bit more worried for your safety?
Well, that's the thing. Very few people actually hate me. Since this whole cancellation and I've been walking around, et cetera, I have yet to have a single negative interaction with anybody. Male, female, adult, child, everyone loves me. The people want me to take pictures with their kids, and the women come up and they say, we love everything you say about traditionally masculine men. And I've never even had the women hate me, considering I'm this evil misogynist. Everybody likes me. But obviously there's a contingent of people who are strange in the world. But I speak my truth because I believe it's my job as a man to speak my truth. I don't do it to be liked. I speak it because I believe it, and I'm always going to do that. And if public sentiment shifted and everyone decided to hate me, I would continue to say exactly what I'm saying because it's what I believe. I'm speaking for a large group of people who feel the same way I do. I haven't put a magic spell in the world. There's a large group of people who agree with what I say, and it hasn't been said before, and I'm out here saying it, so they're going to be fervent fans. And also, I feel like a lot of the people who are fans of mine and genuinely listen to my advice, their lives improve. And that's where you have this passionate response, because if you've become a Tate fan in the last 2 years, you've started to really study stoicism and really go to the gym and get in good shape and get your finances right, etc. Your life in real time has improved. So you're like, you're saying Tate's bad. He's made my life good. So I like it. So they're very passionate in their defense of me, which is fantastic. And then you obviously have the other side, the slave minds who obey anything they're told by the MSM, who've been told that I'm somehow evil. So they're passionate about disliking me. And it's interesting because the mainstream media still seems to have this power to convince these slave-minded people to believe that someone's evil with basically no evidence. It's truly incredible.
Speaking about that, I even screenshotted it when I was doing some research for this. I found an article.
You guys don't have coffee? You guys need coffee.
To be honest, I need a Red Bull at some point.
You need like 20 coffees a day.
The first thing that came up when I Googled you is inside the violent, misogynistic world of TikTok's new star.
The violent, misogynistic world. You know what's crazy about
That's the first thing that came up.
How many things can they throw at you, you know?
Yeah, this is the Guardian. Guardian.
It was the Guardian,
I'd love to walk into the Guardian HQ and see all these nerds sitting, these fucking dorks, sitting there on their little computers typing away. what's amazing to me is this. Nobody seems to want to point out the fact that I am now, like you just stated, the most Googled, most famous person on the planet. Not a single female has come out and accused me of rape. Not a single female has come out and accused me of domestic violence. Not a single female has come out and said I had a negative interaction with Andrew. He was a mean person. In fact, if you were to put me up in terms of performance metrics against other people of my fame, I'm the least misogynistic man on the planet. And these fucking clowns sit here writing shit, pretending I'm somehow evil because they're slave-minded. These people work for the Matrix. They're agents of the Matrix themselves. They don't truly understand what they're doing. They are programmed completely. And this last 3 years has shown how programmed people can be. People can literally throw away their common sense, throw away their observation skills, and sit there and just absorb programming and say, Andrew is bad. Inflation is good. And they're just clowns. They're clowns. I would love to sit down with the clown who wrote that article and say, why am I bad? And if we had a podcast with that person, whoever they are, that nobody, because they're a nobody, that brokey, across an hour, I would decimate them. I would destroy them. And they know it. They'd make a fool of themselves. So they just sit there and go, and hide back in their cave to talk more shit. Clowns.
Do you think the powers that be have pushed it too far recently with lockdown, and that's why you had this rise? Or was there another reason behind? Because you've been doing social media for a long time, and the last couple of years of where you've really exploded. What's the reason behind that, in your opinion?
Power is a funny thing. And most people who have power in their lives don't understand exactly how power works. And power is a fantastic thing to wield, but there's always a line. And once you overstep that line, you have a difficult choice. So we can apply it to, let's say, a government. If you're a government, you have power. If people start to riot, you can send the riot police. That's fine. But if people continue to riot and you continue to be more and more draconian and you send the riot police to, let's say, shoot at unarmed people in a crowd, like they did in Romania in 1989, for example. Once you overstep the line with power, people no longer trust you with power. Once they don't trust you with power, you have mass rebellion and things must change. People who've been in charge of information for a very long time had the power, but it got to the point where after lying to everybody for 3 years, nobody trusts them with the power anymore. You can't decide what I get to read because I trusted you to decide what was good and bad for me, and you completely ruined it. So yeah, a lot of people, anyone with a brain, anyone who doesn't work for the fucking Guardian, has clowns.
I think most people our age don't trust
who wrote
newspapers.
the article? Who wrote the article? Tell me their name.
The
Look it up.
Let's name and shame this guy.
Shame this clown.
It'll take me a minute. Hold on.
So once you can't be trusted with power anymore, now what do? Right? Because nobody wants them to have power. So people are trying to seek out information in alternative ways. So yeah, there is some divine timing with my rise. Certainly. There is some divine timing with it. But yeah, also it still takes bravery to stand up and speak out because I have had genuine real world detriment for doing what I've done.
It's Shanti Das.
Shanti Das. I challenge Shanti Das to a debate and have a nice long conversation and absolutely destroy her so that she can sit there and make a fool of herself.
Well, I think their offices are quite close, so we could shout out from the window and get them over.
Shanti Das. Yeah, anyway. But yeah, they're not trusted with power anymore. So it's an interesting change of the guard. It's going to be interesting to see who comes into place. But there has been real world detriment to doing what I've done. They did delete me across all social medias and delete me on every app on my phone and freeze all my bank accounts and try and raise criminal charges against me for things I haven't done. And there has been real consequences.
So how did you get around them freezing your bank accounts?
Well, you don't, do you? You have to just deal with the long legal process of having 7 or 8 bank accounts and millions of pounds frozen. And they just issue AFOs and they just freeze it. So this is the thing. It all ties into how deep you go into the matrix. Is the money that you have yours? Is the house that you own yours? Is any of it yours? You piss off a government. Piss off a government and tell me what's still yours. And you'll soon learn that none of it is yours. You think you own it. That's my money. I worked for it. I paid my taxes on it, so it's mine. No, it's not.
So bearing that in mind, are you worried about what you own? Because if it's not yours, they can take it away and you are speaking out against them.
I don't own anything.
I've heard you say that a few times.
So can you explain that?
Can you enlighten that? You own nothing,
I don't own anything. I'm just some dude.
I think you have a Bugatti though, don't you?
Yeah, when you say nothing, do you mean
do you not
nothing?
own it?
Nothing.
Okay, that's good.
I don't own anything. There are cars. Let's say there's a
that you have access to.
Correct. a trust in Singapore may own a percentage of a company in Dubai, which may have access to a car that I could borrow on a social media influence contract, perhaps.
Yeah.
But I don't own anything. And that's because if you own things, they come for you. Elon Musk tweeted it the other day. Someone tweeted Elon saying, what is the countdown until they raid Elon Musk's home for releasing the truth about what the FBI is doing with the election interference? And his response was, I don't have a home. You get to a certain level of wealth where you're like, you know what? It's easier just to not have things. I don't have anything. I can rent anything I want. If I want to stay in London for the next 10 years, I can walk into the Dorchester and take the presidential suite at £20,000 a day for the next 20 years. So who cares? I don't need a house. Like you just get beyond that point with money. So there's kind of like this middle ground. When you're broke, you own nothing, and then you start doing well and you own a bunch of stuff, and then you get to the top and you're just trying to get rid of it all. Don't want to own anything anymore.
Well, E-Man said when we interviewed him, he said he didn't want to be a billionaire. He said as soon as you get to that sort of level, they'll start controlling you and manipulating you. So do you have a similar thought pattern on that?
It's very hard to not become a billionaire in the world today, I think, if you're truly influential. I'm already a billionaire if I had to have my net worth measured.
That would have been one of my questions.
You can answer, no, I'm a billionaire. Yeah, so net worth.
What are you bringing into that? Are you bringing in your whole brand as a part of that value?
Well, yeah, net worth is subjective, right? So Forbes contacted me to put me on the billionaire list, and they wanted to know everything I owned, and I told them I don't own anything, and they like, okay, well, they want to know my income, and I said, look, I'll declare to you, I'll show you maybe 20 million a month or something, and they said, okay, but the value, obviously, then you value the companies those things come from, right? You can take some of my companies people know about, like The Real World, which was previously Hustlers University. If I have a business that is making $20 million profit a month, and it is an online educational platform, the largest one in the world, and it's a subscription model, and you put an 8 times multiplier on the profit, which most tech companies could achieve, that's an $800 million business.
But could you sell that business without you attached to it, though?
Well, that's the point. That's a good question. That's a very good question. And that's where, and I never would sell it anyway, but I know what you're saying. But then it comes into other things like branding and the brand. I'm the most Googled man on the planet. They can't ban me from algorithms. They failed. I'm the most TikToked person on the planet, the most viewed person on Instagram. Like, what's the value of that? You could give me, who makes these glasses? IKEA? This might be IKEA.
I'm not sure.
IKEA could come to me with this glass and say, sell a bunch of these. And I could sell $1 billion of these glasses. It'd take me a week. So like when I get offers, trust me, I get a lot of them. I'm not a fucking scammer like Logan Paul. I'm not a clown. But when crypto companies come to me and say, will you pump our coin? They start by offering me $50 to $65 million. They say, look, we'll give you $65 million if you'll mention this coin on a podcast. $65 million to say a name. And I don't do it because I refuse to allow my fans to get ripped off like Logan Paul does to his fans. He's a fucking scumbag.
So what is your view on that whole crypto zoo situation? Because CoffeeZilla is doing an investigation at the moment and it is quite gripping, isn't it?
The dude's a clown. He's a person who doesn't care about his fans. He just wants to make as much money as possible off the back of people who watch him. It's different with me. I genuinely want every single Tate fan, anybody who listens to what I say, to have an improved life. I want their life to be better for listening to me, whether it's in their relationship or whether it's in their physical stature or their financial capability. The idea of a 16-year-old spending their last money on a coin because I said so and them losing money would bother me at night.
And they will lose it.
And they will lose. Of course they'll lose. Crypto is, this is what most people don't even understand about the crypto market. It's player versus player. You can only sell it for $10 after buying it for $1 because someone's buying it at $10. Someone is out to lose. So you can't launch a coin and nobody loses. This is why I haven't launched a crypto. I can make $10 billion today if I launched a crypto, but I refuse to do it because people are going to lose under my name.
Yeah, and it doesn't make sense why people go into these groups and let's all hold together, but they're actually just going to fuck each other over eventually.
It's all clown world.
Yeah.
And then you get to the point where you have to realize, do I need more money or do I want to genuinely be a force for good in the world? And I don't need money. It's the last thing I need. So I'm not going to sell my soul. Logan's obviously a brokey. So he sold his soul like a punk. And now God, then he insulted God, which was great. I
didn't see that.
He robbed all his fans and then he sat there and insulted God and now God's teaching him a lesson. And maybe he's take his atheistic ass and go look in the fucking mirror and understand that there's powers in his universe he doesn't understand. And he can stop being an arrogant piece of shit and he can apologize to his fans. He could take the last money in his little brokey bank account and refund it like a man would. That's what I'd do if they were insulting me. I'd go and say, look, here's my bank balance. I have this much money. I'm giving it to charity. Guy's a fucking punk. He just wants to continue to talk on podcasts and pretend his fans are going to care about him forever. Nobody respects that man any longer from the day he attacked me. Anybody who attacks me gets fucking wrecked. True Jordy lost every sponsor, got wrecked. Logan got wrecked. I'm divinely protected. These clowns need to just not say my name. So yeah, because they're people without morals. And if you have no morality on a long enough time scale, God will teach you a lesson. They're fucking morally bankrupt individuals. They're just sitting there, anything they can to grab some money from the world, fucking their fans over.
So what is the situation with True Jordy?
Yeah, how's your best mate, True Jordy?
Yeah.
I don't know. He lost all his fans for insulting me. He tried to say something about my conversion to Islam. He insulted me and lost all of his
I think he lost his fans before that as
well.
Yeah.
Do you know what? You don't bring religion into things, do you? Because that is your faith. Yeah. My faith is my faith.
Yeah.
That's a personal thing.
Completely.
It's just past free speech, isn't it? It's just a weird thing to do. It's not about free speech. It's
exactly.
Just weird.
And he was so angry at me because I pointed out some truths about him multiple times. Me and him have a long history of internet beef. He made a video about me 5 or 6 years ago.
Were you on True News or something like that?
And he made a video about me 5 or 6 years ago, and I countered his video saying that his video was distasteful. Then a bunch of screenshots came out about him with loving his some deviant sexual acts. I highlighted that to the public, which obviously upset him. So he doesn't like me very much. And I've said to him, look, we can settle this in the cage if you want to fight about it. Like we can go and sell a bunch of tickets and I'll beat the living shit out of you. But he's of course scared. So instead he just does these little snidey videos. And because he's upset deep in his heart, he can't control himself when he mentions me. And he said things he shouldn't have said.
What a big pay-per-view that would be. You versus True Geordie.
I think people would be very disappointed in the 6-second show, but they'd be like, I paid for this.
Would you keep it going a little bit longer or just end it straight away?
No, I would destroy it.
Yeah.
Not even for the fans. You wouldn't just keep it going.
I would destroy it. Yeah. But so that's the story.
What about his mate was there helping him?
Oh, what, his little girlfriend? Fucking hell.
You can have both of them against you.
Right. Yeah, but you know what? It's really crazy as well because all these podcasters and like Logan and Jordy, all this shit, I don't watch any of this shit. So they say things and it gets cut into clips. And I have a huge media team, and obviously there's a lot of people who work for me, and they go through it all and they put it together and they say, look, this is perhaps worth commenting on, or he said this, that. But I get a daily report on my social media presences and performances. And there's a daily report of how many times I'm viewed and et cetera, et cetera. And there's all the people who come for me at the bottom and mentions them. But I think a lot of it, truthfully, comes from jealousy. These people have been podcasting for a very long time and they've been famous for a very long time. And I've just come along and smoked them. I've just come along and just destroyed them. And they're sitting there like, shit, he's the top G. I'm a fucking nobody. Yeah. I thought he was canceled. Why is he still getting more views than me? He's supposed to be gone. So they hate me, and it is what it is.
Yeah, they just can't understand it. So was being cancelled part of your 3-part plan?
I knew the cancellation was coming.
Yeah.
I was prepared for a cancellation. I'll be honest, because I'm human and I don't lie. I didn't expect it to come as hard as it did. I thought they might delete my account.
Yeah.
I didn't expect them to freeze 15 million pounds of banks. I didn't expect them to put a travel ban on me. I didn't expect like this kind of craziness. But you learn a lot. And I always knew that the world and the laws and the legal systems we live under are clown shows, and it's all a circus. And I always knew they're subjective bullshit. But when you're actually at the end of it and you're seeing how subjectively stupid laws are, it's ridiculous for them to sit there and say, Andrew said women can't park cars, so that's hate speech, so that's a crime, so that's bail, so that's a travel ban. Name a fucking dude who hasn't said women can't park. Like this is literally insanity. But the laws are all subjective. So when you're at the end of it, it's kind of interesting. I was prepared for it for a very long time. There's very old videos of me talking about how you can't live on one grid. You can't live off grid either. So the only way you can protect yourself is to live on as many grids as possible. So for a very long time, I was prepared by having multiple passports and banks all around the world and all that kind of thing. So they failed to damage me like they wanted to, but it was an interesting few months, that's for sure, yeah.
It was only recently I realised how in sort of contact the banks are with the law. And really, you look at it, they are just one, aren't they?
Completely. And none of the money's yours. I feel uncomfortable with a lot of money in my bank. So that's another thing. Like I'm now at the point where I don't really carry money at all. I don't have any way of paying for things because anytime I'm anywhere, I'm with like my PA or my security team, whatever. So it's almost weird how quickly you get used to like walking in somewhere, eating, and just walking out. I don't pay, and someone else sits and pays for me.
Sorts it.
So it's weird. I don't pay for anything. I don't have any money. I don't have any of that stuff anymore because...
that sounds like true freedom, though. You don't have to worry about the money at all.
I don't look at the price of anything. I don't look at the price of anything. If a new car launches and I want it, I just say, give me this. And
sort it.
Yeah, literally, give me one. What options? All of them. Just tick every box, buy. And cars turn up at the house that I've forgotten I've bought. And
when did you reach that level of wealth? Was it within the last couple of years, or were you at that stage beforehand?
I was always fairly well off, but in the last, I'd say 3 years, I got to a point where money is truly not real. Money has no value whatsoever for me anymore. So if I want something, I'll just buy it. And I spend ridiculous amounts of money on stupid things. I know if So
what are some stupid purchases?
No, but I compare it to my old life, right? Because I'm from a council estate in Luton. So me and Tristan will sit around and talk about how insane it is that we'll go to a hotel and we'll prefer the shower head in the suite as opposed to the normal hotel room. So instead of spending £3,500 a night in the normal hotel room, we'll spend £11,000 a night for the suite because of a shower head. And we're sitting there thinking $8,000 a night because of the shower head. Like it's so unfathomable when you used to make like £1,500 a month and you lived in a council estate, and it's crazy, but money just has no value, and you just get to the point where you do whatever you want. And you also over prepare, you overspend. If I fly somewhere, let's say I fly to Marbella, I might want to go for a drive. So I'll get 3 supercars, put on a truck, moved from Bucharest, driven all the way across Europe, 4,000 kilometers, all the way to Marbella, taken out, put in front of the hotel, arranged. I'll go to Marbella on the jet. I'll sit there for 2 days. I don't feel like driving. The cars don't move. They get picked up again, put back on a truck, flown up. It's just, I have a security team, like everything. It's just, you just do it because money has no value. I might want it. So
who handles the logistics for that? Because that sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah, life becomes, like I said, there's a lot of organization involved in the life, and you end up with a lot of staff and a lot of people around you who are good at these kind of things, and they become invaluable as part of the team. But yeah, there's people who organize it for me.
So if someone wanted to get to that level, what would you say their net worth would have to be to not worry about money and just buy whatever they want whenever they want?
Net worth is subjective, like we just discussed. I think it's more about how much and I don't even think it's how much money you have in the bank, because you can tear through any amount of money. It's how much money you're earning.
Okay.
I think a good life costs about $1 million a month.
Wow. That's a big figure.
$1 million a month is a good life. $500,000 a month is doable, and you can still live good. But if you want to really truly live like the best human experience, it costs about $1 million a month.
And is that earned income or income with your assets increasing?
That's income that you have coming into the bank that you can spend.
Okay, that you're taxed on as well. So it's slightly less than that, but depending
where you pay tax.